Good evening, everybody. We're welcome back to the Dylan Asso Show. My name is Dylan Asso, and we have a great show for you guys today. We got to talk about a couple topics today. Iran war is going to be in there, and then we also have the Ukraine war, and then the primaries that just happened. So, three topics today. Finally, a good news day. So, let's get into it. Before we get into it, we got a couple of news things to tell you about the channel. So, we're going to be having a debate, live debates, 8 to 10 a.m. and p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, we'll be posting a video sometime today. And yeah, it'll be before this live happened. You'll see this. So yeah, those two things will be happening. Feel free to join. Feel free to come up if you disagree with me. Yeah, pretty much that's it. Let's get into it though. So, Middle East conflict, obviously Iran war. We've been talking about this for about 156 days. And pretty much the entire time I've had this podcast. So, this is something. So, the negotiations to reopen the Strait of Hormuz are advancing, with U.S. and Qatari officials describing progress and draft language circulating. President Trump reported very good discussions with Iran and indicated a deal could be announced as early as today or Thursday. Sources suggested that the U.S. aimed for an announcement on August 5th, which is tomorrow. Well, actually today. To say. It also says the U.S. has reportedly used a large share of its missiles, long-range missiles, in the conflict with Iran, raising concerns that some officials about deterrence against other adversaries through the U.S. House stated that that's also another problem we have to get into. And related developments. Do I want to bring that up? No, it's not worth bringing up. Okay. So let's talk about it. So what is exactly happening here again is the United States is going to war, and we're trying to make peace deals with them again. And it always happens like this. It always happens where Trump threatens. Iran says there's no talking between the two. And next you know, well, oh my gosh, peace deal. I hope you guys know, if you're watching this show, an MOU will never be reached between the two. It just never will happen because there's too much on the stakes. Iran believes that they have the right now to the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. knows that can't happen because Iran's richer, and Israel will never let that happen. But also, Lebanon is saying that we need to. Well, Israel's saying that Lebanon needs to, need to keep invading Lebanon, which Iran is saying that we need to. No, Israel needs to stop attacking. It will never happen. Okay, it'll never happen. So I'm not too faithful about this. And you're right here like this great peace deal and stuff like that. It's not gonna happen. We've been talking about this for 155 days, and I said yesterday in my cycle, this is the exact same thing that keeps happening. It keeps happening. It's the same thing. Okay, it's like a circle. I guess we could start with the start of the war. So, MOU, broken MOU because, just something happens, usually Israel. Then afterwards, we have the war starting back up again, closure of Strait of Hormuz. Then afterwards, we have the Trump threatening to bomb the living hell out of them. Iran denies it. Talks, peace deal, repeat. And it's going to go like that for the rest of the time. It's going to go like that for the rest of the time. Unless the United States... I don't see Iran... There's two things that can happen. Iran gets what they want, release sanctions or the Strait of Hormuz. Or... the United States has a ground force. It's one of the two, and it can't be anything else. It can't. Those are the only two things that can happen. Because we're in a place in this war where Iran feels like they have the right now, that they're more powerful, that they're like, even though they're not winning in the terms of military, but they're winning in terms of economic warfare, and I guess like, what's the right word? Mental strategy, or like, I guess the economic strategy, because the United States is getting hurt because of gas prices, grocery prices. I actually want to pull up what Matt Walsh said to this. So let me pull this up. I'll read it to you guys aloud, because this is crazy. A guy who voted for Trump, a guy who's like, the biggest Trump guy ever, right? he is actually starting to turn on Trump. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, hold up. I think I sent it to one of my friends. I gotta show you guys this because it's hilarious what Matt Walsh said to this. I like some of Matt Walsh. You know, I like what he says about certain things, and he's a little too pro-Trump. Here we go. Grocery prices are insane. They're still rising. Address the problem should be the #1 priority of every elected leader. End the stupid foreign wars and focus on this issue. It's one main reason socialists... Wow, what's my lisp? Main reason socialists are gaining power. Matt! Matt! Matt, we've been talking about this for how long? Matt? Matt? We've been talking about this for, like, the entire war? And now it just starts coming to you that, like, the gas prices are a little too high, the grocery prices are a little too high, maybe because that war in Iran sucks, and the foreign wars. Maybe Trump is just not the greatest here. Maybe Trump is going against his promise. I don't know, Matt. Up to you, your life. But I'm just saying, Matt, maybe it's time to, you know, leave the Trump train. So, yeah. So, they're not focusing on that. They're focusing on... He's right. We're focusing on foreign wars like we've been doing. Right? Ever since 1982, when Reagan helped Israel attack Lebanon. That ever since then, or even before that, we could say, like, in 1967, 1972, or 1973, I think, one to two. Whenever we've been backing Israel, well, we've put Israel first instead of putting our domestic industry. And the best way to show this is this. It actually, this is the perfect way to show it. Israel is an ethno-state. The United States is getting, I can't say, raped by diversity and mass immigration. Israel's not. Israel's birth rate's going up. The United States birth rates down. And so we're just getting cooked. Just getting cooked in every level, every shape or form, in terms of, like, economic reasons. I mean, our prices are going up. The economy sucks here. Israel's not feeling the same type of burden. Right? So their unity's higher. Our unity's going down. And they're about to take the Middle East. That's their goal. And if they take the Middle East, they're controlling the entire world. If you control the Middle East, you control the world. Oil reserves. Oil controls the world. Okay? You get all the oil reserves. You get also, like, the trade organizations that are there. Like, you get everything. Everything runs through you now. Israel is advancing technology. Their country has gotten better, while our country has just really gotten worse. And this is exact example of it. I think, Matt, if you're gonna stay with the Daily Wire and you're gonna stay with Ben Shapiro, after saying this and after just, you know, opening your eyes a little bit, you're gonna still stay with the Daily Wire. It shows that you're a grifter. So yeah, I didn't really get on about the peace deal. I just don't think anything's gonna happen with it. I'm tired of talking about it. I couldn't be more tired of talking about this. Right? I guess the more interesting part about talking about this is that, well, we've used a good portion of our long-range missiles. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. I don't think China's going to attack us. I don't think Russia's going to attack us. I don't think anyone's going to attack us, right? Because nukes. But as it costs us a lot more money to make more of it now, I'm not worried about anyone attacking us, though, because it's literally almost impossible to attack us. Best Navy, 2 oceans. Yeah. Like, again, nothing really to worry about there, but I'm tired of talking about it. I really am tired of talking about it. There's nothing more boring than talk about the war in Iran, because we've talked about it so much. It's like, I feel like Nick after just listening to this stupid chats for an hour. So, yeah. But we're seeing a problem here. I don't think this war is ever going to end. I don't think it's going to end before midterms. We might get another couple peace deals. Don't get you wrong, okay? If we get another peace deal, this war will be back started again. Again. Don't kid yourself. Again. This war will be started again and again and again and again and again. It won't end by midterms unless we give up sanctions, in which Trump is fucked if we do that. Trump is fucked if we give him release sanctions and it's a JCPOA again. Because then he left the JCPOA because he said it sucked, but then he's gonna just do another version of the JCPOA, which he hated. So, in any way, I can't see any good outcomes unless we put ground forces, in which that is also political suicide for Trump. So, Trump is cooked in every way, shape, or form. I'm happy I left the train because he's done. I don't want regime change in Iran. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want an Israel shill in there. Because if it is, and Israel just keeps taking, right, and eventually they control all the Middle East and it's just an Israeli colony, I don't want Israel having the Middle East. I don't want any country having the Middle East, besides us. I'm okay with if it's us. But I don't want any country because then we have to negotiate. This is why we didn't want Saddam, taking over 40% of the world's oil reserves. Because now everything has to go through him. That's what we're worried about. That's why we went to war against Iran. It's Iraq with Saddam Hussein. Because we didn't want him having oil reserves. Why should we have Israel or allow Israel to have the oil reserves? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. So yeah. We can talk 10 minutes about that. That's 10 minutes too long about this. We can also, now we're going to talk about the Ukraine war. So what happened here? Russian missile and drone strikes on Kiev and surrounding areas killed at least 17 people and wounded dozens of citizens. Ukrainian drones struck a Wildberries warehouse in South Moscow. Moscow. Wow, I'm just the worst reader. Ukrainian military intelligence reported a North Korean missile unit beginning to deploy in western Russia, potentially with dozens of ballistic missiles. The EU announced that it would transfer 1.4 billion from interest and frozen Russian assets to support Israel. Okay. So it looks like this war is going to have a final escalation. Finally. I mean, I'm not finally. The war has been a stalemate the entire time. Okay, sure, they've been in war, but it's just been a stalemate. Nothing's really happened ever since the original advances. Like, they almost took Kiev, and then they pushed them back. And it's just been pretty much just a stalemate. I think we're still funding Ukraine, though. Which is, I don't like that. We're still funding them, but, like, we should know what's happening there. Most of the things are just getting frauded. For example, I go to school with 2 Ukrainian students. I was in freshman year, and I was talking to my teacher, and he's, like, skeptical about the Ukrainian war. And what happened was these people were getting given the funding so they can go to the families, but these people haven't received any funding. You know why? Because it goes to banks to get politicians richer. Because we all know Ukraine's corrupt. We know Zelensky's corrupt. Okay? They're corrupt. And so we know that, like, it's pretty much a dictatorship. It's right now it's a dictatorship because, no elections. And you can say, well, they're in war. Like, okay, well, FDR had elections in World War II. What's his name? I forget his name. Oh, my gosh. Churchill had, elections. A lot of people had elections during the war. Abraham Lincoln. Elections during war. You can't just cancel elections. And he's deeply unpopular there. So, yeah, we have that. But also, they're taking the money that we give to them. That's why we shouldn't be giving money to them. Let alone, there's no reason to give money to them. I can see why Russia went to war. I can see. And I guess I'm on Ukraine's side, in a way. I'm not really on anybody's side. I believe they're both evil. But Ukraine is, like, the better of the evils. It's like the Republican Party versus the Democratic Party. It's like the Republicans are better, but, like, I wouldn't want to support them. But, yeah, like, we're still giving money to them. That's one thing. And Trump was supposed to solve this war. And, I mean, we're over a year and a half into his administration. There's no progress in this. There hasn't been any progress ever since he got into office about this Ukrainian war. Or even ever since he cooked Zelensky. Like, just not anything. So, we have that. But, yeah, there's nothing else to really talk about here. But I'm just saying that this war might get escalated. And I'm happy that the EU is sending more money to them. Because, I mean, Europe should be sending the money, not us. This is on their continent. Okay, we have no business in this. This has been the U.S. foreign policy ever since World War II. But a real escalation probably in the 1980s with Reagan doctrine, where we feel a need that we need to like go everywhere and just give everyone money and fight everyone's wars and proxy wars and fund them. Like, you understand what I'm trying to say here? Like, this is stupid. This is not our continent. I can understand if there's if it's Cuba or Venezuela, right? And we don't want a socialist regime right on our like doorstep. I can understand that. See, that makes sense. But if it's in Africa, where we've seen many proxy wars there, and we've funded many different regimes and many different things, or if you look at Europe, right? You look at Europe, the Marshall Plan. That was stupid. I don't think we should be. At the time, I'm debating that actually. At the time, I could see, trying to fund, trying to help us out. But like, if we look at the rest, we have been so fixated on regions that are not even close to us. Vietnam War, the Middle East, almost everything with the Reagan doctrine, Libya, places, Africa is pretty much another place, and we've been fixated with these people, and that's the problem. Ever since World War II, we've seen that. Ever since World War II. So I'm happy Europe is actually taking their pride and actually taking their accountability that this is their war. This is something they should be handling, not us. So, yeah. I'm happy about that. I'm actually really happy about that. We finally get that done. We don't have to deal with that anymore. But I would hope Trump actually starts, I hope Trump starts cutting the funding. We haven't cut funding yet. And, he ran on this. See, that's the problem. He ran on that too. Like, he ran on stopping this war. But, like, I don't know why. Why are we trying to even, like, try and stop this war? Like, that is for Europe to handle, not us. I don't care. Okay? Sure, death is sad. I agree with you. War is horrible. But that doesn't mean that we have to intervene. We don't have to intervene in every single war. We don't have to intervene. We don't have to take a side. We can literally just... I'm not even against isolationism in a way. Right? Like, that's originally, we were supposed to be isolationists. But I like Monroe Doctrine a little bit more. Where we are entitled to the western half. I'm okay with that. But we have no business with them. Okay? With Europe, with Africa, with Asia, which is the three things we've been trying to deal with. Like, let them deal with it. Just stay out of world. Like, just stay out of it. All right, and then guess what? What happens? What happens? Well, Russia and China, they're gonna start taking everywhere. No, they're not. Okay, they're not. And realistically, no. Like, realistically, no. And if they start doing, then we'll get involved. But we don't have to be like taking a side in every war, giving money in every war. Okay, that's what we've been doing. We have to separate from that. We have to be paleoconservative. Okay, paleoconservative. Old right. Old conservative. That's what we need to do. But yeah. Now we go on to the primaries. This is interesting. So, I actually was supposed to talk about this yesterday, but it wasn't interesting enough. So, progressive Dr. Please pardon me. Dr. Abul El Said narrowly defeated Representative Harley Stevens in Michigan Democratic U.S. Senate primary. I don't know much of her policies. I didn't really care about this. But it was pretty much a progressive versus the establishment. Both are bad. I actually rather have the establishment Democrat. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. I rather have an establishment Democrat. Did I have it here? I want to see what their policies were. I want to see what their policies were, because that's what I care about. Either way. Okay, so the one that won is oh gosh, Medicare for all. Ending U.S. I guess ending aid to Israel is not bad, but endorsed by Bernie Sanders and AOC. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, dude, all because they're funded by AIPAC. I'd rather have the AIPAC funded moderate than this progressive socialist. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. Oh my god. I just can't. I can't with this anymore. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? I just rather have the establishment pro-Israel. Like, I'm sorry, they both suck. But I'm tired of socialists. I have a couple friends that are like, they're Democrats and they're like so happy that these people are winning. I'm like, dude, your party is socialist. Your party is socialist. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? This can't be real. We need a red terror, please. Please. Red terror. No more. Please. Oh my gosh. In 2 years, the Democratic Party is not going to have any idea what just happened to him. No idea. Okay, we are so cooked. We are so dead. We are so cooked. If Groypers don't get into power, we're done. Another Democratic Socialist. I don't know if she identifies that, but it feels like we're a Democratic Socialist. I think she is. Oh my gosh. And you have regular establishment Democrats voting for her. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Medicare for all. Do you understand the problem with Medicare for all? Oh my gosh. Oh no. She's against Israel, right? So guess what? We should vote for her, right? But let's ignore the socialist policies. Like, that's ever worked. These people are hidden Marxists. Okay, that's what they are. They're hidden Marxists. They're hidden Marxists. And pretty much, there's a problem with this. There's a, we're capitalist nation here, right? And capitalism, sure, it's not been great. I love capitalism. I like capitalism a lot, right? I defend capitalism in my lives. Am I a laissez-faire economics guy? No, we're not even capitalists. I won't even say we're capitalists right now, okay? We're really mixed to the point where our free markets are just not even free anymore, right? Like, if we look at all of Europe, pretty much, they have more free markets than the United States. We don't have free markets, okay? Like, we're 24th in the free market index. We're not even capitalist. We're barely capitalist at this point. And I support capitalism. We need more capitalism. At what point we see our national debt? Oh. And okay, we're gonna tax unrealized gains and just gonna crash the economy. That will crash the economy, and we won't be able to fund. Okay, and people, this is basic economics. Okay, sure, we tax unrealized gains. They sell and the market collapse. Sure, we get a short burst of revenue, and then we lose so much revenue afterwards. Like idiots. Taxing billionaires is so hard, okay? But there's ways to do it. Not wealth taxes. Because that sucks. Europe tried that out, and how'd that go for them? All of them repealed it besides 3 countries. Because it sucked. If we look at, taxing unrealized gains, that will just crash the economy for the reasons I just said. Sure, billionaire oligarchs. Maybe just, how about this? Stop shilling for them. Maybe ban corporate lobbying. If we ban corporate lobbying, their whole power goes. Their power is gone if we ban lobbying. It's not even that we need to tax them more. Because the way we tax them is so hard. Because they don't make income. They make gains, okay? They make their net worth goes higher. Doesn't mean they can spend that money. So, we're not going to... Listen. This is actually scary. Yeah. So, if we try to, just tax unrealized gains, and we try to just tax these billionaires, the economy's gonna crumble. And it's not like mass deportations where we take a hit, and then it eventually comes back to normal. It won't. It won't. Because where are we ever gonna get that revenue from? Where are we gonna get that revenue again? We need revenue, right? Because you want to fund Medicare for all, right? Like, here's the thing. When I talk about mass deportations, I want less spending. Okay? I want less spending on welfare. Okay? I want less spending on foreign wars. I want less spending. Okay? I want less. I don't want more spending. Because, listen, you want is an easy philosophy. All these socialists say, we're gonna tax the rich, and then fund Medicare for all. Okay. Let's tax unrealized gains. Let's put a wealth tax. What happens? What happens? Okay. They sell a lot of their stock. The economy crumbles. People lose a lot of money. So, people have money in stock markets. I think like the majority of the country has money in stock markets. I might fact check myself right now. What percentage of the country has money in the stock market? 62%. 62% have money in the stock market in the United States. So that's gonna crumble. The S&P 500 is gonna crumble because they start selling stock a lot. All right. And so now, how are you gonna fund Medicare for all? When the billionaires are collapsed, when the oligarch is gone, right? And these people have barely any money. Sure, they're not billionaires anymore. Where are we gonna get the money to fund Medicare for all? We gotta tax millionaires now? Well, that's just bad for the economy. We shouldn't be taxing millionaires. Are we gonna tax the top 1%? Well, the top 1% is full of nurses, doctors, lawyers. Okay, well, how are we gonna fund, like, I'm not even against that in a sense, but I don't want Medicare for all then. You can't fund it. You can't fund it. Even like a 2% wealth tax won't fund Medicare for all. You're gonna have to cut spending with these massive tax rates because eventually you lose revenue. Eventually you won't make that. It will be like a little peak of revenue. And it'll just crumble. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. You want to end the oligarch? Well, it's pretty easy. Make a bill. End corporate lobbying. Boom. Done. So stupid. Listen. I agree. The Conservative Party's been shills for the riches. I agree. I'm not even disagreeing with you guys when I say that. I agree. But when we're talking about, like, oh, we need to tax the rich? No. I'm saying we keep the 37% tax, right? And make a gigantic middle-class tax cut for families. If you look at my Substack, I have a whole plan. 5% taxes. If you're a married couple, and you're making below 100 grand a year, you don't get taxes. So you can fund the family. So you can fund, and if you're making above that to like 500K, you get like 5-10% taxes. Barely anything. Barely anything. So you can fund a family, right? So you can fund and put a down payment on a house. That's the way you fix this country. You gotta go back to families. Okay, and I'm not even trying to tax the rich. Alright? I'm getting most of my revenue from a global tariff, right? A global unified tariff. Because you see with Trump, these big global unified tariffs, what have they done to the economy? They haven't raised prices. You know? If you look at Trump's first term, he had massive universal tariffs. Did you see the prices go up? No. Trump had actually really low inflation. Around 2%. Fed target. High tariffs. So anyways, like, that's how you make your revenue. You make extra revenue from that. You build up revenue. You build up revenue from taxes. Maybe like a sin tax. Like, there's other ways to build revenue without just taxing billionaires. You keep the same tax, right? Or I think I proposed an income tax lowering the 1% to 30% because the top 1% isn't like we're talking about the top 0.1%, not the top 1%. Top 1% are like actual just, you know, good people. That's what we're taxing. We don't want to tax the top 1%. So, anyways, that's my show. I have nothing else to talk about. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. God bless all you, every single one of you. Again, reminder, another video is probably gonna be coming out today, and also debates. I'll be putting highlights up. So yeah, thank you for watching. God bless. What outro? I'm gonna put an outro. It's retarded.